FoxDen Radio, the place where the Fox Finance community meets to chat, get updates from the team, conduct interviews, and answer questions. My name is Dave, also known as The Dude Abides in Canada.
Life goes on, man.
I'm the founder of the FoxDen and the host of FoxDen Radio. Join us as we grow this FoxDen Radio project, and you will gain the power to answer life's most mysterious question.
What does the fox say? The secret of the fox, ancient mystery, somewhere deep in the woods. I know you're hiding. What is your sound? Will we ever know? Will always be a mystery. What do you say?
Well, what does the FoxDen team have to say today? Welcome to another edition of FoxDen Radio. I'm your host, Dave the Dude, excited to be broadcasting to you live from the Fox Metaverse space. That's right, folks, we've done it. We've got our first version of the Fox Finance Metaverse space up and running. You can check it out yourself in virtual reality on an Oculus headset, or you can do it on desktop with Mac or PC by going to Altspace's website, downloading their app, create an avatar for yourself, and you can check it out on a browser, or you can experience it in virtual reality. So excited to be integrating some of our media products into the Fox Metaverse space. It's going to be the thing that connects everything together. We're going to have our games, our NFTs in here, our radio shows, and it's going to be a huge new source of creating digital attractions and bringing new people to Fox Finance and raising money to help endangered species and fight climate change. So on today's show, I was happy to do another interview with the architect of the Fox Metaverse space, Metaverse Mark, as I like to call him. He's a friend of mine in the real world, and he's done a great job of figuring out how this all works and has been working with the team, collaborating with my vision to start with a meeting space, and that's something that will be expanded over time to an entire virtual resort, which is going to be super exciting. So today's show, we're going to begin with an interview with Mark, and we will also have some news, some of the latest cryptocurrency news that is happening, as well as a tribute to the DJ Steve Aoki. But let's start out with the interview with Metaverse Mark. So could you tell me about Altspace? Like this place where the Fox Finance Metaverse space is being hosted?
So I guess Altspace basically is it's a social app where people can meet and where anyone can go in and create a user-defined space to do whatever they want in, literally to do whatever they want in. They're not moderated, so
Right.
you can have a dance club, you could have a church service, you could teach something. There's a lot of educational things going on. It seems to me when I look around in there, what I see mostly is I see a lot of religion and a lot of educational stuff going on in there. But other people are doing more countercultural kind of things, which is more kind of what I'm into. Like the Burning Man people have things going on in there, and it's a neat space for arts and to socialize. Like you mentioned that you went to a room where you could smoke virtual weed the other day. How was that? That seemed fun.
Yeah, it was just a cool idea to be able to do it. So I guess like the first thing is you create like an avatar for yourself, right? And then you go in, and then there's different rooms. So like there's when you go in, there's like events happening that you can join on the main menu, or if you put in like a specific code.
Specific. Yes.
Oh, you can search as well?
Well, yeah, not really so much for things, but you can search for codes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah.
So then you punch in that code, and then
Yeah.
it takes you to the room. And then I did notice, like, you can normally you're seeing it like first person, right? But you can do like a camera thing, and where you can see yourself in the space as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't come across that yet, but it doesn't surprise me that there'd be different camera views.
Yeah, but then other people see you, right? They see your avatar
Yeah.
kind of floating around, so you can see other people who are in the space.
Yeah.
So
And was there a lot of people in the room that you visited?
no, there's nobody there when I went.
You were in there by yourself.
Yeah, I went to some other ones that had people. I went to one. There was like a DJ playing, and I went and checked that out. And there was other people there. And then his avatar, he finished, and he came down on the stage and was talking to people. And you can't actually hear their conversations, but you can see that they're talking or whatever. So
Yeah.
so that was kind of cool. And so this works out as a platform, because to make our own metaverse space from total scratch was like a huge undertaking, right? But so it's like to use this platform and create a room is something where like community members can actually participate and get on it. And the other thing I really liked about it is that you don't need to have a VR headset to join, right?
No, you don't need a VR headset. You just need a Microsoft account, and you can sign up for it, and you can do it from anywhere, any platform.
Is it any platform? Is it
Pretty
just
sure
Windows or it's
no? I'm pretty
it's
sure.
Mac?
Well, it's Mac for sure. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So then you could still go in there and see that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that's cool. And then it's actually the basic version is up. I got to go in there and walk around. So starting out with just the meeting space is what we're starting for, right?
Yeah.
That we talked about before.
My next step then is in my own space. I did a stream the other day, which was really cool. So I opened a video or a web browser in the space, and then put one of my DJ mixes from Mixcloud in the web browser. So then anyone that visited the space could hear the DJ music and actually see the web page. And I'm pretty sure that they could turn it on and off.
Yeah, because that's part of like the integration. We have a big vision for the space, but I was thinking like even like we're developing our forum, right? And let's say like we're gonna have like elections, so we can set it as like a certain wall in the space. We'll have like the latest updates from the forum, and then we can do that. Or we can have like videos or any type of content. We can have like the NFTs or things like that.
Yeah.
We can have portals to our games as well.
Yes.
And then you would essentially just you walk up to that, but then you got to interact with it, right? In some ways, then it takes you out, right? You're not.
Yeah, we'll bring it in Altspace, as opposed to building a big game where everything is all within one game. It's sort of like it sub branches out, so you jump from minigame to minigame basically within Altspace.
Right.
Going from room to room.
Right. And I saw you had some kind of portal things there. That's a way to kind of go between.
Those
different
hopefully
spaces.
will be a way to go between the spaces when we get to that point.
Right.
It's something that I wanted to like, because we had discussed like having like a Pokemon style sort of like 8 different levels. So
Right.
I figured for something to do to like make our space a little different, and something that's actually that I created, those little transport tubes or whatever they're going
Right.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be cool because that's the idea is to have like a virtual resort, like a virtual zoo, so to be able to go to the different areas and navigate. But we'll start at the meeting area, and that's where we'll have team meetings, but we can have community gatherings, right?
Yeah.
People can come and see what's going on, and it can also be like an auction hall, like a place for vendors as well, right?
Yeah,
Could come in, and we'll have that kind of integration. So
Well, this hall would probably be more of a central place, and other things would probably be breakout rooms.
Right.
Like I imagine that if you wanted to do a marketplace, that would be there would be a portal where you go to a marketplace from this main thing.
right.
You'd build these subspaces around it.
Right. So this is kind of like the nexus point where
It's the-
everything
yeah,
comes
yeah,
together, right?
Definitely.
And then
Yeah.
you kind of branch off. So, and I've seen like the design of it is going to look really cool. So it's cool to be able to come into there and then, but also to branch out, because I did go into some of the alt spaces and it was kind of one main area, but then that was kind of it. So it's cool to be able to like transport and then go into a totally different area.
Yeah.
Even though it's in the same Altspace room,
Uh-huh.
you're going to different kind of areas in the world, kind of.
Yeah.
It's not just a one specific space,
Yeah,
right?
I highly recommend you check out the Burning Man space, because once you're in the main space for Burning Man, there's probably 36 portals that bring you to different spaces within that, and each of the space is a whole nother experience. Like it could be a game. Most of them are art. Most of them are just really cool things to look at. So you go in and wander around and look at it, and some of them are experiences. Or
Right.
yeah, it's pretty neat. It's my favorite. The best thing I've seen so far as like having a whole bunch of things going on in one in one area, and my inspiration for the modeling of how I see the Fox Finance space work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool, right? And that's the other thing too, is like this metaverse space. It's an opportunity for kind of culture and community and art, right? And that's something that interests me too, as part of the motivation of this development of metaverse. Like, I don't want to just be like Facebook, big corporate space. Like, it's a new opportunity for people to connect from all around the world. So it's like to have spaces where you have, decentralized communities developing and growing, and art and new opportunities. It's like, it's pretty innovative.
Yeah. No, it's neat, and I like that Fox has given me the opportunity to develop the skills that I'm interested in developing. It's really nice, The dude abides.
Yeah, and they'll be abiding in Metaspace.
To say that, or is that a copyright infringement?
No,
are you allowed to abide, or?
Yes. I'm a dudist priest.
A Dudist priest.
I signed up on dudism.com.
Okay,
so
no, you're allowed to abide.
Yeah, so I am.
Okay, good to know.
I am I'm a missionary of abiding, and basically just trying to get people to chill out a little bit and enjoy life.
The world needs more chilling out.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's kind of how, when I started in crypto, I was trying to choose an identity thing. And I was like, what's my intention? What vibe do I want to put out there? And crypto is just a place full of, like, I don't know, scams and drama and inconsistent people. And I was like, I want to be like, if I'm just like a chill, reliable, positive guy. And it just started out by like making memes and being encouraging, and then just kept getting promoted by Fox until now I'm on the board of directors. And yeah, we developing this metaverse space has been awesome, because we have like a vision for it, and then you're kind of like the architect. So, and that's your favorite part, right? Is building the actual physical spaces. So that's going to be fun too, with building the different Pokemon kind of zones. It'll be it'll be fun to do that. And so I was thinking like kind of different habitats, right? We can have different types of things,
different environments, different habitats, different.
Yeah, and I had an idea, because I was trying to think of like, what could we do that is not really possible in the real world, other things. I was thinking it would be cool, we could have one space, maybe like the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Right, because that's something that will be impossible in the real world. But
or space.
Yeah, or space, right? But there's like, for the zoo part, it's like there's creatures down at the bottom of the ocean. We can have like underwater volcanoes and stuff where you physically, it will be impossible in reality. So that's the other kind of cool thing to think about. Like, what could we do there that you can't do in the real world, right?
Well, also, I mean, for a lot of people in the real world, it's like travel is not possible. So you can't go and, if you live in Guatemala or something like that, and you don't have a lot going on, you can't go and see all these things. But you might be able to have an internet account and a headset and go exploring,
Yeah, totally. And that's where it's the cool integration, because we've talked about like nature documentaries, and like that will be a really cool thing, where it could be like, you go in there and you can actually go on experience it like a first person too, because you were showing me that YouTube 360, right? And like that is really amazing. So we could have things like that, and then to access it, we can integrate like the NFTs. So you have to have a certain Fox NFT in your wallet, and then you're able to go into that space, kind of like a ticket for a ride or whatever. And then we could use like that funding to, let's say it's a documentary to go see some endangered chimpanzee, right? And then the funding that would come from people buying tickets to that place through the NFTs we can use that towards protecting that particular animal. So I think it's it's got really really cool potential there. And,
lofty ideals for sure. That's great.
I think it's going to be huge for the project because it integrates all the other things. It's not just some side kind of like little thing. It's like, no, this is where we can bring in our NFTs, our video games, our nature documentaries, our community stuff.
What's the new hub? It's the new downtown. It's the new place where people interact.
Yeah.
From everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool thing about that too, and it also that you're making it has cool features and stuff. Because I was reading an article about, was it Mark Cuban was talking about metaverse real estate and being like, it's a bit of an overblown market because you can create different metaverse spaces, right? So it's got to be, it's not just, oh, I have this space. It's like, what's the function? What's the utility? What's happening in the space? And that's where we're coming up with unique ideas.
Have you seen
for
Earth 2 online? No. Have you seen Earth 2? So these people have created they've mapped the world.
Oh, okay.
So they've mapped everything into blocks, and they're selling off really cheap virtual real estate. So you can, like, right now you could go on their map, find the chunk of, so it seems to be actually working. Like, people are actually buying it, although I wouldn't, because it seems like a scam. But you can buy, like, chunks of virtual downtown, so big swaths of parkland, or in this new virtual world,
right?
This map. And I guess their thought is that eventually that people will create virtual experiences in their world, in Earth 2, that people will want to pay to go and see. So like this house or Stanley Park, or Science World, but then you would go there in Earth 2 and you could have your own stuff going on there.
Right. Yeah. And it's so cool because, like, at this point too, like the graphics are, lower quality, but you were telling me it's really about the internet connection technology. As that increases, then it's going to be able to go even more and more. So then the early pioneers are going to be well positioned to to take advantage of it, because it's going to be, once it gets like to that level, it's going to start getting more like the Matrix.
Yeah, well, because the Meta Quest headsets which are the entry level consumer, the things that everyone can afford, are based on Android, and Android is only at G5 right now. So it needs more bandwidth to be able to swap back and forth through wireless between your modem and your headset, both ways all the time. So every time machine in your headset changes even just a little bit, it's like firing information back and forth. So the more they increase the bandwidth, the more realistic things will be able to become.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is it possible to do like a wired connection? I guess.
Yeah, you can have a wired connection.
Maybe if your stationary is.
Yeah, but
right?
Yeah, you can definitely have a wired connection, and you can have a wired connection inside the Quest. But you need a really fast computer.
Right.
Like a really fast
computer. We'll get that someday. We'll pay for one of those. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. Well, thanks for giving us a bit of an update. I guess the next thing is we'll put it on the final touches, and then we'll give people instructions about how they can get an Altspace and check out our first kind of iteration.
People can go and have a look.
Yeah. And then we'll start being able to fill it up with more and more content.
We'll put some content in there, and we'll put some interactables in there, so you can like move things around and play a little bit, and maybe throw a game in there that you can do,
Right. Great.
It's good. It's fun.
Great.
I'm looking forward to working more on it, actually.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited too, especially now we got like the basic technical foundations done. It's like now we can get more into the fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Mark. Well, thanks for coming on for another interview on FoxDen Radio.
No problem. Well, you're welcome, dude.
All right, hope you enjoyed that interview with Metaverse Mark, who's building the Fox Metaverse space. On today's show, our musical theme is going to be by a famous DJ called Steve Aoki. He's one of the hardest working DJs in the business, who's famous for doing a ton of shows and producing a lot of tracks with famous artists. We're going to start out with a collaboration of him with Kaze featuring John Martin. The track is called Whole Again, here on FoxDen Radio.
Can you remember where we started? Before we lost our innocence. Never thought about tomorrow. On the run, chasing the sun. Never thought it could be over. So many things I never said. Another day, another sorrow. I'm okay, but I just wish that you were here right now. Yeah, I just wish that you would know by now how much you mean to me. And I'm holding on to all our tears, all our memories. So I just wish that you were here right now to make me whole again. No, I don't know how it happened. I woke up and you were gone. I wonder, was it all a dream? You and I chasing the sun. And now I'm feeling California while I'm tripping in the dark. Another night I still miss ya. It's alright, but I just wish that you were here right now. Yeah, I just wish that you would know by now how much you mean to me. And I'm holding on to all our tears, all our memories. So I just wish that you were here right now to make me whole again. So I just wish that you were here right now to make me whole again. Make me whole again. Make me whole again. So I just wish that you were here right now to make me whole again.
Welcome to the news portion of FoxDen Radio. Today we have 3 news articles. You may have heard President Biden introducing new cryptocurrency regulation. We'll learn more about what's in it, and we'll hear the response from the CEO of Binance, CZ, which he sees as a good thing. Lastly, we'll have an article about the crypto metaverse, the role that crypto is playing in the developing metaverse, which Fox Finance is a part of. But first, Binance CEO believes Biden's crypto regulatory framework is good news, by author Jordan Lionchiv on September 17th, 2022. The proper regulatory framework from the U.S. will benefit the entire crypto industry, noted CZ. The Biden administration issued its first ever paper on cryptocurrencies and how the asset class should be regulated within the nation on Friday. While some believe the guidelines require more clarity, Binance CEO asserted that the framework is a significant recognition of itself, and his company aims to work with global watchdogs. Here's what he had to say in his announcement via Twitter. It's great to see the U.S. moving towards a proposed crypto framework. Getting it right will help protect consumers, markets, and spark responsible innovation. The correct regulations will drive technological innovation and preserve crypto's fundamental value propositions of freedom and empowerment while ensuring the right guardrails are in place for consumer protection and choice. The U.S. whole-of-government approach to crypto regulation will bring a much-needed consistency and clarity versus the current patchwork of state laws and regulations that govern the space. The framework brings specific provisions for international cooperation with other countries and active collaboration with global standard setters and the private sector, especially on the enforcement front. Binance is working to comply with future regional regulations, such as MiCA in the EU, and looks forward to consistent regulations globally to ensure the industry can continue to thrive and support regulators to meet their objectives. We commend the U.S.'s framework, the focus on consumer protection, fraud, and illicit activity as a critical part of future regulations. We have grown our compliance team by 500% and launched law enforcement training worldwide to scale our support. Ensuring sustainable growth of the global crypto ecosystem also involves doing our part to strengthen international financial crime and counterterrorism efforts. We are always expanding our in-house anti-money laundering AML detection and analytics capabilities. Finally, the focus on catalyzing payments innovation is part and parcel to the evolution of the financial services industry at large, and it brings into focus the kind of impact it can have on financial inclusion, especially for low and moderate income communities. We embrace the opportunity to work with regulators and the industry as they seek to establish a global regulatory and compliance framework suitable for the industry. Next article is from CNBC.com, written by Mackenzie Sigalos. It's titled, "A Biden White House just put out a framework on regulating crypto. Here's what's in it." The Biden White House has just released its first ever framework on what crypto regulation in the U.S. should look like, including ways in which the financial services industry should evolve to make borderless transactions easier and how to crack down on fraud in the digital asset space. The new directives tap the muscle of existing regulators, such as the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, but nobody's mandating anything yet. The long-awaited direction from Washington has, however, captured the attention of both the crypto industry as a whole and of investors in this nascent asset class. The framework follows an executive order issued in March, in which President Joe Biden called on federal agencies to examine the risks and benefits of cryptocurrencies and issue official reports on their findings. For 6 months, government agencies have been working to develop their own frameworks and policy recommendations to address half a dozen priorities listed in the executive order: consumer and investor protection, promoting financial stability, countering illicit finance, U.S. leadership in the global financial system and economic competitiveness, financial inclusion, and responsible innovation. Together, these recommendations comprise the first whole-of-government approach to regulating the industry. Here are some of the key takeaways from the White House's new crypto framework. One section of the White House's new framework on crypto regulation focuses on eliminating illegal activity in the industry, and the measures proposed appear to have real teeth. Quote, "The President will evaluate whether to call upon Congress to amend the Bank Secrecy Act, anti-tip-off statutes, and laws against unlicensed money transmitting to apply explicitly to digital asset service providers, including digital asset exchanges and non-fungible tokens (NFT) platforms," according to a White House fact sheet. The President is also looking into whether to push Congress to raise the penalties for unlicensed money transmitting, as well as potentially amending certain federal statutes to allow the Department of Justice to prosecute digital asset crimes in any jurisdiction where a victim of those crimes is found. In terms of next steps, Treasury will complete an illicit finance risk assessment on decentralized finance by the end of February 2023, and an assessment on NFTs by July 2023. Crime is rife in the digital asset sector. More than $1 billion in crypto has been lost to fraud since the start of 2021, according to research from the Federal Trade Commission. Last month, the SEC said it charged 11 people for their roles in creating and promoting a fraudulent crypto pyramid and Ponzi scheme that raised more than $300 million from millions of investors worldwide, including in the United States. Meanwhile, in February, U.S. officials seized $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin, their biggest seizure of cryptocurrencies ever, related to the 2016 hack of crypto exchange Bitfinex. The framework also points to the potential for significant benefits from a U.S. central bank digital currency. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell previously said the main incentive for the U.S. to launch its own currency would be to eliminate the use case for crypto coins in America. Quote, "You wouldn't need stable coins, you wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital U.S. currency," Powell said. I think that's one of the stronger arguments in his favor. In the White House's new framework, it points to the fact that a U.S. CBDC could enable a payment system that is, quote, "more efficient, provides a foundation for future technological innovation, facilitates faster cross-border transactions, and is environmentally sustainable. It could promote financial inclusion and equity by enabling access for a broad set of consumers," continues the report. To that end, the administration urges the Fed to continue its ongoing research, experimentation, and evaluation of a central digital currency. The framework goes on to single out stablecoins, warning that they could create disruptive runs if not paired with appropriate regulation. To make stablecoins safer, the administration says the Treasury will, quote, "work with financial institutions to bolster their capacity to identify and mitigate cyber vulnerabilities by sharing information and promoting a wide range of datasets and analytical tools, as well as team up with other agencies to identify, track, and analyze emerging strategic risks that relate to digital asset markets. Those efforts will also happen in concert with international allies, including the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and the Financial Stability Board." Our last article is titled, "What is the Crypto Metaverse?" and it's written by Dardania Hivali for BSC News. The Metaverse is quickly distinguishing itself as the future of the Internet. Here, we look at what that future means and why interaction is a huge part of it. The Metaverse is a combination of the entire Internet, uniting virtual reality, augmented reality, and the Internet as we know it. Neil Stephenson initially coined the term metaverse in his 1992 science fiction novel Snow Crash that sees a delivery-driving duo navigate the metaverse to free themselves from a capitalist dystopia. The metaverse started as an escape and now an unknown to be explored. The metaverse is the gateway to most digital experiences, a key component of all physical ones, and the next great labor platform, says venture capitalist and essayist Matthew Ball. Ball sees the metaverse as a new current that will bring about a new generation of companies, much like the unforeseen development the internet enjoyed. Crypto will, of course, play a vital role in this, as it has already begun to do so. In a period where the pandemic has devastated our world as we know it, a virtual space where users are free to travel and socialize has begun to thrive. Crypto's role in the construction of the metaverse. Behind each successful metaverse iteration, there will be the aim of delivering permissionless identity, financial services, and high-speed exchange, all elements of crypto at its best. A massive data will have to be stored and offered to millions, perhaps billions of people eventually, so the security provided by blockchain becomes a necessity. Organizations such as Dvision and the Sandbox have already constructed virtual worlds that have integrated digital assets and made trading a designated possibility within its own world. Monetized virtual casinos, races, and theme parks have become commonplace, with separate projects deploying their native tokens in the metaverse. NFTs have already played a significant role in the crypto metaverse, whether through the purchase you wish to embody or the skill traits for GameFi character. Land itself has become a precious asset in the diverse metaverse worlds. For example, Decentralized recently oversaw the sale of virtual real estate for more than $900,000 within their digital world. The next step is to bridge the separate metaverses and provide a single interoperable marketplace, an ultimate digital matrix. This prospect is made a lot easier through token swaps because native metaverse tokens can be sold and bought on third-party exchanges. Arthur Madrid, CEO and co-founder of The Sandbox, explained in a VentureBeat event, quote, "I think people are truly blown away by the amount of money that players spend in digital assets. Hundreds, thousands, probably millions of dollars spent on digital assets. I think making these assets NFTs, building an NFT economy, is going to add new layers on top of the existing digital economy. The metaverse poses many questions moving forward to the evolution of the internet. Should the metaverse consist of multiple layers? Should all layers be interoperable? Should some have gateways? These are all questions and more which beset the future of blockchain, the internet, and the world." So that's the update about our news and some insight into the crypto metaverse. I'm really excited that Fox Finance is taking the steps to be involved in this next level of innovation. I really think that the metaverse is kind of like when the internet first came out. It's a developing space, but over time it's going to become just an area where things happen, and there's going to be all kinds of entertainment, education, services provided through it. And I think it's also just going to be the next cool thing, especially as the technology continues to grow. All right, let's take a break and listen to another track by Steve Aoki. This one is called Typical, featuring Lars Martin in collaboration with Alok. Enjoy, Steve Aoki.
It's so typical, call me cynical, lost conditional. It's like I'm invisible. It's so typical, once it's difficult. When I physical, so typical. She said, give me that taste, not in today's. Give me the highs I love. It's always the same, screaming my name. Yeah, you know what I want. You made me a sinner. Can't look in the mirror. Your love is a thriller. Ay. You hold me, you hold me, you hold me like you know you're only playing this game cause you're lonely. You're playing this game cause you're lonely. It's so typical, call me cynical, lost conditional. It's like I'm invisible. It's so typical, once it's difficult. When I'm physical, so typical. It's so typical, call me cynical, lost conditional. It's like I'm invisible. It's so typical, once it's difficult. When I'm physical, so typical. Cause I'm not the same, counting the days, don't recognize myself. You're out of my face, asking for grace, giving you what you want. You made me a sinner, can't look in the mirror. Your love is a thriller. Yeah. You hold me, you hold me, you hold me like you know you're only playing this game cause you're lonely. You're playing this game cause you're lonely. It's so typical, call me cynical, lost conditional. It's like I'm invisible. It's so typical, once it's difficult. When I'm physical, so typical. It's so typical, call me cynical, lost conditional. It's like I'm invisible. It's so typical, once it's difficult. When I'm physical, so typical.
Welcome back to FoxDen Radio. Up next is our environmental news. Fox Finance, our goal is to fight against climate change and try and protect endangered species. So we've got some news articles related to our environmental focus. One of them is an update on a donation we made in the summer to protect the swift fox. Another is about protecting the ocean ecosystem. And the last one is about fighting against fox hunts in the UK. During last summer, Fox Finance made a donation to the Nature Conservancy of Canada. Community members voted on their favorite endangered species, and we made donations to help the swift fox, Canada lynx, and Blanding's turtle. The following article is about how the NCC recently bought land in central North America to protect the swift fox, along with nighthawks and other endangered birds. NCC protection of grasslands extended in Saskatchewan, from cjwwradio.com. Southwest Saskatchewan will now have a large section of grasslands protected by the Nature Conservancy of Canada. The new conservation project is being called Rangeview and is located in the far southwest corner of the province near the Alberta and Montana borders. The Rangeview property contains 1,200 acres of grasslands and wetlands, including seasonal creeks and riparian areas. This specific land is only about 6 kilometers away from the Old Man on His Back Prairie and Heritage Conservation Area, which is one of the largest properties NCC has in the province. With the property and surrounding area, the grassland will provide habitat to many different species of plants and animals, including several that are threatened under Canada's Species at Risk Act. These animals include the swift fox, the chestnut-colored longspur, and the nighthawk. NCC says grasslands benefit the environment by storing carbon, filtering water, and preventing floods and droughts. The Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Stephen Gilbert, says, "The twin crises of climate change and biodiversity loss are two sides of the same coin, and we must tackle them together. By working with partners like the Nature Conservancy of Canada, individual and corporate donors, we are helping to protect the natural environment in Saskatchewan and across the country." Over the past 2 years, the NCC has influenced the protection of more than 2.4 million acres of grasslands across Canada, which is almost twice the size of Banff National Park. Saskatchewan now has a total of 489,000 acres of protected grasslands. The next article is about how protecting endangered plants can be crucial to sustaining all the living things in an ecosystem. Last summer, your friend the Dude went on a wildlife watching boat tour off the west coast of Vancouver Island, and I saw a group of 50 otters floating together. The guide told us that they're British Columbia otters, which nearly went extinct in the area around the 1980s. The population of BC otters went down to 20 at that time, so conservationists helped to reintroduce the species from northern Alaska. Over time, the population of BC otters grew from 20 to 20,000. They help to deal with the problem of overpopulation of sea urchins, which leads to decreased seaweed and therefore less food for all the creatures in the food chain, all the way up to whales. This news article is about something similar, as preserving this endangered species of bull kelp would help to benefit the entire ocean ecosystem. Group seeks endangered species protection for the West Coast bull kelp, by Bradley Parks from Oregon Public Broadcasting. The Center for Biological Diversity is seeking the Endangered Species Act protections for bull kelp. Bull kelp is critical to Oregon coastal ecosystems that historically supported sea otters, urchins, and sunflower sea stars. The Center for Biological Diversity on Thursday submitted a petition to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to grant endangered status to the long stalks of kelp that are critical to Oregon coastal ecosystems. Mukta Kelkar, science intern with the Center for Biological Diversity, who co-authored the petition, said, quote, "Bull kelp face threats from climate change, sea urchin predation, and coastal development. So we're asking that the federal government step in and protect them under the Endangered Species Act. Bull kelp create balance in Pacific coast communities of sea otters, urchins, and sunflower sea stars. The towering brown algae also store carbon and support a vast array of marine life like salmon and abalone. Urchins eat kelp, but otters and sea stars historically kept the spiky salad eaters in check. However, when sea otters largely disappeared from the subtidal ecosystem of the U.S. West Coast, because trappers went after their pelts in the 18th and 19th centuries, it unbalanced the ecosystem. Warming oceans have also caused the rapid spread of sea star wasting disease, which has decimated sunflower sea stars, another urchin predator. That's led to a proliferation of purple sea urchins that are mowing down kelp forests, creating underwater wastelands, and putting this vital ecosystem at risk. Quote, purple sea urchins take over the previous kelp habitat and graze very destructively on what's left. After that happens, it's very difficult for kelp to recover. Kelkar added that increased ocean temperatures and frequent marine heat waves driven by climate change are creating conditions for bull kelp decline. The Endangered Species Act safeguards a long list of marine species. Kelkar said if listed, bull kelp would be the first marine plant or algae to earn these protections. NOAA confirmed the agency has received the petition but did not comment on it. Receipt of the petition kicks off a 90-day review process during which the NOAA will determine whether bull kelp may warrant protection under the Endangered Species Act. The last article is from The Star in the UK, where fox hunting is still a problem. Sheffield hunt saboteurs lift the lid on their campaigns. I have been ridden at, trampled, and verbally abused. Written by Stephen Ross. Zeb D, aged 51, from North Sheffield, has been involved with Sheffield Hunt Saboteurs, a group which disrupts trail hunts in the region, for 15 years. While fox hunting is illegal, trail hunting, where hounds follow a scent rather than a fox, is not. But Zeb believes that some groups use trail hunts as a smokescreen. The saboteurs are also concerned that even when trail hunting is taking place, they are often organized in areas where foxes are known to live, and hounds will break away and follow foxes when they catch their scent. Zeb became firmly involved with the group after coming across an artificial breeding ground for foxes in the woodland, which had been covered with a slab of stone. When Zeb and her friends lifted the stone, they found blood and the stone was scratched underneath where an animal had broken its claws trying to get out. Zeb said, "That shocked me. That was a catalyst. It gave me a lot of resolve to keep going for a long time." The Hunting Act came into force in 2005 and banned the hunting of wild animals with dogs in England and Wales, making traditional hunts a crime, but keeping trail and drag hunting legal. Intercepting and disrupting a hunt can often involve trespassing on land, which is a civil offense, but Zeb says the group is only doing this in order to enforce criminal law. She added, quote, "We are trespassing to try and prevent an illegal activity. The Hunting Act is very hard to enforce. They will say they're trailing, and we know they're not." Sabotaging a hunt is quite an organized operation. Zeb explained that they usually have 2 people in a car, a driver and a navigator, and a team in the field. She said, "You try and do the opposite of what the huntsman does. If he uses his hunting horn to hunt the hounds on, we'll use the same sort of hunting horn to try and bring the hounds to us. We use whips to make a cracky noise to try and turn the pack. It can be dangerous, as obviously they're not happy that we're there. I've been ridden at, I've been trampled, verbally abused. I've been driving vehicles when they've been throwing rocks at the windows trying to get us to crash. I've had many vehicles around. I've been attacked by maces. And as a woman, you can be quite targeted. It is mainly men who come at you like that." Zeb said that they do not sabotage hunts which operate within the law. A spokesman for South Yorkshire Police said, quote, "Fox hunting with dogs is an offence, and we will continue to monitor and review any evidence. We would encourage anyone with concerns about this type of crime to report to our officers so that we can investigate. Reports of this nature are treated seriously and investigated thoroughly." So that's some environmental news related to the projects that matter to Fox Finance. It's a big part of the charity focus of the project, and our multimedia projects are designed to help raise funds to keep the organization sustainable and to fund our charitable efforts. Let's take a break now. We're going to listen to another Steve Aoki track. This one is a collaboration with Chris Lake and Tujamo. The track is called Boneless, here on FoxDen Radio. That was Bonus by Steve Aoki. Love that track. Lots of fun, bouncy beats there. So thanks everybody for tuning in to another edition of FoxDen Radio, our first one being broadcast through the Fox Metaverse space. Stay tuned to all of our Fox Finance socials to hear about the next upcoming show and all of the great developments we've got in the works on this amazing project. Have a good one, my dudes.